Hello once again. Welcome to Zephyr's BI and Analytics, where we learn by building BI projects. I remain Okedona Efasa, a data analyst and a BI developer. Today on this channel, we're going to be working on another interesting data project around the IT domain. As a BI developer, you've been contacted by the technical support team to build a dashboard with specific requirements using their IT dataset that has been provided. I noticed that 80% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So if it's your first time on this channel, please subscribe, hit the notification button to always stay updated. And to my subscribers, I want to say a big thank you to you all for always coming back to this channel. So let's take a look at the report we're going to be creating today. So here is the sample of the report we're going to be creating. It's a 4-page report which provides answers to the key questions asked by the technical support team. The first page is the ticket volume. The next page is the ticket log. This is the ticket log. The third page is content and SLAs. And finally, the fourth page is agent performance. We're going to be recreating this report using Power BI. So quickly, let's take a look at the brief for this report. Here is the project brief. This is actually the Data DNA May 2024 Data Challenge Technical Support Analysis. We simply have the introduction, we have the data analysis focus. So you have the freedom to choose your analytical approach. However, consider the following questions to guide your exploration centered around technical support center key performance indicators. So we have the ticket volume, analyze daily, weekly, and monthly volumes and all. We have the ticket content and resolution, identify ticket trends. Then we have the performance metrics, evaluate agent SLA adherence for first response and resolution. So with these KPIs in mind, we are going to be recreating the report which I've created before now. You're going to see how I was able to focus on the key KPIs to come up with an insightful report. So next, let's proceed to the dataset, how you can actually download the dataset for this challenge. Attached to the video description are 2 links. The first link will take you to this Google Sheet where you can download a copy of the dataset. There are 3 tables. The first table is the data, the second table is country, and the last table is the data dictionary. I will encourage you to read through the data dictionary to get a clear understanding of the dataset. So while I'm here, I'll quickly just come to File, I'll navigate to Download and click on Microsoft Excel to download a copy of the dataset. Now, the second link will take you to a Google Drive where you're going to download 4 pictures. The first picture is actually the ticket brief. The second one is the background image we need for the entire report. The first page, the second page, third page, and finally the fourth page. The link to the Google Drive is attached to the video. You can download all these images we're going to be using for the report. Once we've done that, we can then close and navigate to Power BI where we can actually begin creating our report. So once I'm on my Power BI desktop, the first thing I'll do is quickly come to Get Data from Excel Workbook. I'll navigate to my downloads where I have the technical support dataset. Remember, the link to download a copy of the dataset is attached to the video description. I'll select that and click on Open. Great. So once the navigator pane is open, I'm going to select the country and I'll select the data. Those are just the 2 tables I need. I don't need the data dictionary or this table 1. So once I'm done with that, I'll click on Transform Data. So while in Power Query, I'll quickly rename this data table to technical support. So I'll rename this to technical support. Great. For the country, I'll check. So I'll perform a transformation here. So I notice my column title, they're on the first row here. So while I'm here, I'll come to transform data. I'll click on use first row as headers. Great. So this is done. I'll navigate back to my technical support. So one thing we're going to do now is quickly run through the columns we have in this data set. I'll make the ticket ID my first column. We actually have 22 columns. So I'll change the column profiling to be based on the entire data set. For the first column, we have the ticket ID. Remember, we have a data dictionary attached to the data set. I would advise you to go through the data dictionary to get a clear understanding of the title of this column, what they mean and what they stand for. So we have the ticket ID, we have the status, we have priority, we have the source, the topic, we have the agent group, agent name. We also have the created time. For the created time, we have the date and the time as one column. So what I'm quickly going to do, I want to split the created time into two columns. So we have a created date and a created time. To do that, I'll simply highlight the column, select this column. I'll come to transform. I'll say split column. I'll say split by delimiter. Now I want to split using the space delimiter. So I'll change it to space. So also, I don't want to split at each occurrence, rather, I want to split from the leftmost delimiter. So I'll select that and click on OK. Great. So once that is done, I have two columns. I'll rename these to created date. And I'll also rename these to created time. Great. I'll do the same for this expected SLA resolve. We have time and date in one column, so I'm going to split this into two columns. By delimiter, I'll change this from custom, I'll select space, I'll say leftmost delimiter, and I'll click on OK. So this will be expected SLA to resolve date, then this will be expected SLA to resolve time. This will be date, while this will be time. To the next column, we have expected SLA to first response. So I'll also split this column. But you notice one thing, we have expected SLA to first response. We also have first response time. The first response time, we have the date and the time in one column. But if you check carefully, you discover that we have same date, but different time. Same date, but different time. So I want to split this now. I want to split expected SLA to first response. I'll right click. Okay, I'll just select this and say split column by delimiter. I'll say space once more, leftmost delimiter. I'll click on OK. I'll rename this now to expected SLA to first response date. I'll also rename this to expected SLA to first response time. I'll rename this for this column now. I'll split this column also. I'll split. You can actually right click and split. So I'll just come to split here. I'll change this to space once more, leftmost delimiter, click on OK. So I'll rename this now to first response date. and I'll also rename this to first response time. So one thing you need to notice, there is the expected date, the expected time, then we have the actual date, the first response date, and the first response time. I think we also have that for resolution time and expected resolution time and resolution date. So we have SLA for first response, we have resolution time. So for resolution time, we have the date and the time together. So I'm going to split this also. I'll select this, I'll say split by delimiter. No, I'm not using column, I'm using space, leftmost delimiter, I'll click on OK. So for this, I'm going to rename this to be resolution date, not time anymore. And I'll leave this at resolution time. Once I'm done, I would go to the next column. We actually have SLA for resolution, okay. We have close time. So we can actually also split these to close time and close date. So I'll select this, I'll come to split column up here by delimiter. I'll change this to space. I'll select leftmost delimiter, I'll click on OK. So this will be close date. I'll rename this to close date. And finally, I'll rename this to close time. Then we also have agent interaction, survey result, product group, support level, country, latitude and longitude. So those are the columns we have. One thing you need to note, at every time I split, the data type automatically changes to date and the other data type changes to time. So I think these are the few changes we're going to make to this data set while we're in Power Query. I don't think I need to make any other change. So once this is done, I'll come to File, I'll click on Close and Apply. Great. So we have our two tables in Power BI. We have our country and our technical support. We're quickly going to create two more tables. One, we're going to create a calendar table, and we're also going to create a table to hold all our calculations we need to make. First, let's quickly create a calendar table. I already have this done, so I'll quickly go grab the DAX function to create that calendar table. I'll come to the report we are trying to recreate. I'll simply come to my calendar table. First, I'll come to, this is my calendar table. I'll copy this now. I'll stay a while so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So it's a simple DAX measure to create a calendar table for me. So I'll quickly copy this now. So once this is done, I'll navigate back to our report. So while I'm here, I'll come to table view and I'll say new table. I'll paste the DAX measure I copied. So it's a simple DAX measure just to create a calendar table. So the calendar auto function I'm calling will go into my data set and get the date and date. We have a lot of date there, so it's definitely going to get one of the date and start date and end date automatically. Then we create a calendar table from there. So we have this done already. I'm going to click on commit. So once our calendar table is created, we now need to go to our model view to create a simple model. Now, this model, the country, that's the country flag, automatically was connected to the technical support table, and we have to confirm that connection. So okay, great, it's using country and country, so confirm, and it's one-to-many relationship. So I'll just bring this here. So for our calendar table, we have a lot of date column in our data set. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect our calendar table to the created date for now, or connect it to the created date. So this will give you a one-to-many relationship also. I'll click on save. Now we have a lot of dates in our data set. I know we have expected SLA to resolve dates, but for now we're going to be using the created date. If there's need for us to use any other date column, we're going to create a collection. Then if we need to write a DAX function, that's where we're going to use the DAX function user relationship. If there's need for that, we'll see that during the course of this video. So once this is done, I'll go back to my report view. While we're here, I'll simply come to enter data up here, enter data. I'll rename these to calculations, and I'll click on load. This is just to create a simple table for us to hold all our calculations we're going to be making during the course of this report. So once that is done, I'll simply come to format your page report. I'll click on format page report. I'll go to canvas setting. I'll change the setting to custom, and I'll choose my height to be 1080. I'll change my width to be 1920. Great. So once this is done, now we need to import the background we're going to be using for this report, for the first page of this report. Remember, there's also a link to this video that will take you to a Google Drive where you'll be able to download the background image we're going to be using for this report. So for me now, I'm going to come to format this page. I'm going to come to background, canvas background, and I'll click on browse. Note, I already have this in my pictures. I have the image in my pictures, and I'm going to quickly go look for it and select it. That's tickets. That's the image background for the first page of the report. So I'll select it and I'll click on open. While I click on open, I'm going to reduce the transparency to 0. I'll change the image fit from normal to fit. Great. So we have the background for the first page of the report. Now we can actually begin creating the report. So let's quickly take a look at the report we're trying to replicate now. So we have a lot of filters here. And we have a navigation here. So we're going to start by creating the card visuals we have here. And to do that, we're going to start by creating a measure for total tickets. Then this is ticket priority. Then we're going to create a measure for open tickets, in progress, resolved, and closed tickets. So let's quickly navigate back to our report now. So I'll stay on our calculations and I'll create a first measure, that's the total ticket measure. This will be total tickets. This can simply be a count or a distinct count of the ticket ID. So I'll say distinct count. I'll go to my technical support now. We are counting the ticket ID. So I'll scroll, look for the ticket ID. Yeah, counting the ticket ID. Great. So that's my first measure, the total tickets. I'll delete this column 1 we have here. Delete from model. Okay, great. The next measure we're going to be creating also is going to be total tickets, but I'm going to call this total ticket string. That's because I want to attach a text to the total ticket value. So I'm going to call this total tickets string to be equal to. So what I'm going to do now is simply come down here and say variable. I'll say tickets. I'll say this should be equal to the total ticket measure I created. Now I'm simply going to say return now. What I want to return is a text value saying total tickets. And now I'll add my and the ticket value. So this is what I want to return. This will return the text total ticket and the ticket value. But there's going to be an issue because we need to have a space in between. So I'll bring a column here and I'll add another and symbol to this. I'll add space in between so we can have a little space. So it's a very simple measure. There's nothing complicated here. So you can take a look at it. I'll commit this once I'm done. Once again, we're going to create one more measure. This will be ticket percent, more like total ticket percent. So we'll be able to get the percentage of tickets rather than the values. So I'll say this is total tickets. I'll simply say percent to be equal to. So what I will do now is I'll say divide. Now I'm referring to the total ticket value, not the string here. Total tickets. Next I'll say calculate. Total tickets. I'll call on the function all. Open the brackets. Technical support. That's my table. I'll close the brackets. Close the brackets once more and close the bracket. So this is a measure to give us the ticket percentage rather than the value. So once I'm done with this, I'll click on commit. Great. So we have 3 measures created already. With that, we should be able to take care of the first set of card visuals. These ones we have here. So now we can view the ticket percentage by the source. These values we have here, ticket priority, we have the high, medium, and low. So we need to create a measure for high, medium, and low priority. So let's quickly go back. We'll stay on our calculations once more. So if you come to our technical support, we have priority here, a column called priority. And for priority, if you go to table view and select technical support, we have a column called priority. So I'll quickly navigate to the column. We have priority in that column. Should be at the beginning. Yeah, so we have a column called priority, and for priority we have high, low, and medium. So H is for high, M is for medium, and L is for low. So I'll cancel this now. We'll come to report view. I'll stay on our calculations table and I'll say new measure. Now we want to calculate for total ticket, that's high priority tickets. I'll simply say high P tickets. You can actually give this any name that is convenient for you. And I'll call on the calculate function. I'll say calculate. I'll refer to the total ticket here. Now, the total ticket I'm referring to is not the percent, is not the string, rather, is the value, total ticket, the very first measure we created. So I'll say total ticket. Now I want to filter where technical support priority is equals to high, technical support priority is equal to high. What I'll do, I'll simply make a copy of this So I can create another measure and just say technical support priority is medium, low, and so. So I'll come back here, I'll say new measure once more. I'll paste the code and I'll change this from high to medium, and I'll finally change high here to medium. Always check the spelling to make sure the medium spelling, the way it's spelled in the column, is actually the way it's being spelled here. So I'll commit this. Then finally, we need to create for low. I'll stay on calculations once more and say new measure. I'll paste the DAX measure and I'll change this to low. And finally, I'll change this priority to low. And I'll commit this also. So we can create the first, what I call it, portion of the card visual now. So for this, all we need to do is simply come to stacked bar chart, select the stacked bar chart. Once you select the stacked bar chart, now go to technical support and select the source. You need to select the source and finally select the ticket percentage. So we want to see, for the three different sources we have, we want to see the percentage of tickets coming from the three different sources we have. So we have the email, chat, and phone. So select this ticket percent and come change this to percent. Format it to percent. Great. So you can actually reduce the decimal place to be 1 or 0. For mine, I think I'll make it 0. Great. Once that is done, I'll select this and go to format. While you're in format, for the y-axis, we'll turn off the values. We'll also turn off the title if there's title. Okay, the title is off already. Then finally, for while you're still in format, you can come down and turn on the label. Great. Then go to general, title, delete the title we have there, just leave source. Great. I'll change the text style also. I'll just use this and I'll come down a bit and say centralize. Great. So we have the source and email 53%, chat 36%, and phone 11%. For the bar, the color, the bars, the color. So I think let's go check the ports. I'll simply copy the color code so I can use the color code. Let me just quickly go to where I can copy the color code. So this is the color code 5BC7F5. So I'll simply copy the color code 5BC7F5. I'll copy the color code. I'll navigate back to our report. I'll select the chart. I'll go to format. I'll scroll down to where I have columns. While all is selected, I'll come to color, more color, and I'll paste the color code. Fine. Next, we need to create another card visual. So I'll select the card visual here. Maybe I'll pick the old card visual this time around. I'll just expand this. I'll remove this filter pane. And now I'm going to select the total ticket string. Note the total ticket string. So once I do this, I'm going to have this total tickets, then the number of total tickets. So I'll quickly format this. I'll come to call out value. I'll change the style to, I want it to be consistent, so I'll use this also, Sigo UI. I'll change the text size to say 25. I'll make it bold. Then finally, I'll turn off the category label. I'll resize this. One thing I'll do is come to General, come to Effect. I'll turn off the background also. I'll simply place this here. Wait. So, I'll come to Insert once more. I'll say Shape, and I'll insert this oval shape. The oval shape. I'll resize it. I'll resize the oval shape. So I'll click on the oval shape, come to General, come to Properties, Size. I'll make this, let's say I want to make this 50, and I want to make this 50. I'll check the size. Yeah, 50, 50. So I'll select this shape. I'll bring it here. While the shape is selected, I'll come to Style. For the fill, I'm going to change the fill to the color code we have. For the border, I'm going to turn off the border. I'm going to turn on the text, and I'll change this text. I'll simply type H. I'll scroll down a bit. I'll increase the size to 12. I'll make it bold. Let's make the size 14. Great. Once that is done, I would make a copy of this, select it. I'll come to Home. I'll simply say copy. I'll paste. I'll make one more copy. I'll just click on paste. So this is where I need to carefully bring this back a bit. I'll bring this back a bit. I'll take this back a bit. Then finally bring this back a bit. You can actually notice the alignment. I'm trying to make sure that the alignment is in order. So one thing I can do is select this, and say Format, Align, and say Distribute horizontally. Fine. So I'll finally select this and bring it to the middle a bit. Great. So once I have this done, I'm going to select the second shape. I'll go back to Style. I'll scroll down to Text. I'll change this from H to M. I'll select the last one, change the H from H to L. Once this is done, I'll then go select the card visual once more. Now I'm going to select high priority tickets. The measure high priority ticket, that's high P ticket. I'll select that. I'll come to Format. I'll turn off the category label, come to color value, change the style, and reduce the size to, let's say, 20. I'll bring this here. One thing I'll do is go to General, Effect. I'll turn off the background. Once that is done, I'll make a copy of that, copy, paste. So this is going to be from, now we're not going to have high priority ticket there. I'm going to uncheck this, and I'm going to say medium priority ticket. I'll paste one more copy. I'm going to uncheck this, and I'll simply say low priority tickets. Low priority tickets. Great. So that settles this. I'll just resize this a bit. Finally, to complete this section, I would come to the text box, and I'll simply say priority, Ctrl A. I'll increase the size to 14. Let's make it 16. I'll come to effects. I'll turn off the background. I'll simply bring these down here. Reduce the size. Great. So with this, we're done with this first portion of the will I call it card visuals now. So you can actually compare this to what we have here. One thing we need to do is just one thing, is a line. We're going to bring that line immediately now. So we'll navigate back to the report. So what I did was simply come to insert, I'll say shapes. I'll pick on the line. This is the line. I'll reduce the size. For the line color, I'm going to come to style. I'll turn off the fill, go to border. I'll change the border. I'll select this white 20% darker. I'll make a copy of this line, one copy of this line. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So I'll bring this up here. I'll bring the line up here. Take it up a bit. Okay, that's fine. For this line, I'm going to rotate this. I'll rotate this by, let's say, 90 degrees. Resize. Bring this here. Great. So that is taken care of. Next, we need to then, let's go to our reports. So we need open, in progress, resolved, and closed. Open, in progress. So these are actually ticket status. Open, in progress, resolved, and closed. So we need to create measures for open ticket, in progress ticket, resolved ticket, and closed ticket. So I'm going to navigate back now. One thing I'll do is simply come to insert once more. I'll say shapes. I'll click on the oval shape. I'll bring it here. Size. I would have done this in PowerPoint. So I would have done this in PowerPoint, added the icons and all, but you still can do it here. So I'll come to general properties. I'll make this 60-60. 60-60. I'll come to the effects. That's the style. The fill, I'll change the fill to this. I would say 50%. 50% now. Okay, let's make it 30% or 20% transparent. 20% transparent. I'll turn off the border also. So I'm going to make 4 copies for this. I'll come to home. I'll simply say copy, paste. I'll bring this here. I'll paste one more. I'll bring it here. Paste one more and bring it here. I'll keep this here. You can actually watch the alignment. So once I'm done, I'll drop it here. Now I'm going to select the first one, the second, the third, and the fourth. I'll come to format, align, distribute horizontally. Fine. Now we need to create our measure total ticket open, closed, in progress, and resolved. So if you come to our table, now we need to go to the technical support table. We actually have ticket status and we have 4 status. We have closed, in progress, open, and resolved. So we need to create measure for each of them. So we start with calculations here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the measure for low priority tickets. I'll simply copy this. You can actually write this again, you don't need to copy. So I'll come to new measure. I'll paste this and I'll change this to, now we have open ticket. I'll say open tickets. This will be calculate total tickets. Now technical support is no longer priority, rather is status. So where the status is equal to open. Once this is done, I'll make a copy of this now. I'll copy this. I'll commit this first. Next, I'm going to come to calculations once more. I'll say new measure. I'll paste it and I'll change this to, we actually have closed tickets. I'll also change the status now to closed. I'll commit this. Now we have in progress and resolved, so we need to create those two also. I'll come to calculations once more. I'll say new measure. I'll paste this. I'll change this to resolved. I'll also change the status here to resolved. And I'll commit this also. And finally, we need to create for in progress. For in progress. So I'll stay on calculations once more and I'll say new measure. So this would be okay. So I made a mistake already. I'll simply okay. So I'll say in progress. This would be calculates total tickets, comma now technical support status is equal to, you have to check the in progress, how it's spelled in progress. So now we've created the measure for open, closed, resolved, and in progress. Once we're done with that, let's quickly go back to our report so you see what we need to do next. So this is open. Underneath the open, you actually see 0 from yesterday. So what I did here was I wanted the daily change. So when you filter your reports to the previous day, you should see the change as at yesterday. So if let's say 2 tickets were today, we have 18 tickets open as at yesterday plus 3 from yesterday or plus 4 from yesterday. It's similar to when you have month on month change, then you filter previous month, then you see the changes month on month change. So, but we're doing this for daily change. So I did that for open, I did that for in progress, resolved, and closed. So, for example, if I come here and filter my reports and say I want to go back to on let's say 19th, I should see the change. So you have 2 tickets open plus 1 from yesterday, 14 tickets in progress plus 2 from yesterday, resolve 28 minus 3 from yesterday. Basically, that's what I wanted to achieve. So we're going to do this using the date add function. So what I'm going to simply do while we're here, I'll just come to my calculations. I'll come to my ticket calculations and I'll simply just copy one of them. So I'll copy for open. So this is actually the measure. It's a bit longer because of the text we needed to add to it. And one very important thing, we wanted a situation where if you go back and the value is blank, instead of having the text blank on the card, we decided that we wanted a situation where it would, no, not we now, I decided that I wanted a situation where it should display 0 instead of blank. So I'm simply going to copy this measure. I'll explain everything that is happening here. I'll copy this measure. I'll simply copy this and I'll navigate back to the report we are creating. Now, while we're here, I'll stay on calculations and I'll say new measure, I'll say new measure and I'll paste the measure I copied. Now, this measure is actually open ticket DOD. The first variable here we have is previous day tickets. Remember, we wanted a situation where you filter by the previous day, you get the daily change. Now, it simply calculates open ticket. We already have a measure open ticket already, so you have to make sure the measure is spelled well, because the open ticket we have here is actually with capital letter O and capital letter T. So I have to make sure so this open ticket here is referring to the first measure we created for open ticket when we use the calculate, then we filtered status to open. That's the measure we're referring to here. Now we're using the date add function to go back. We're using the date add function with our calendar day to go back -1 to go back the previous day. That's what this first variable previous day is doing here. We're just going back 1 day using the date add function. Now this variable total tickets, calculate total tickets. No, we don't need to actually do this anymore. We don't need to do this anymore. We can actually just delete this. Do you know what we need to do now? We can actually say total ticket and call on our total tickets open, that's open tickets, and call on the open tickets. We already calculated that, so we don't need to be writing calculate total tickets filter by status open. We don't need to do that anymore. Now this is blank. I wanted a situation where, remember, if it's blank, I don't want to return the text blank, rather I want to return the value 0 to show that it's 0. Now this is the change, the total tickets. Now that's the tickets. Note, these tickets we have here is referring to this open tickets here minus the previous day tickets, which is this first variable we have here. That's just the change. This is what enable us get the change. Then in the end, we want to return, if it's blank, if there's no change, rather than return error or return no value or blank, we want a situation where it will return no change. You understand? Now, if of course it's greater than 0, we want it to be, if we wanted to add the plus symbol, ordinarily it will add the minus symbol, but for the plus symbol you need to, it will only display the number, but we needed to add the plus symbol to signify that it's an addition, like we're adding maybe +3 or +1. Ideally, if it's minus, it will show -3, -1 or so. But for addition, it will only display the value. So you need to add the sign, the plus symbol. This is just a simple format from yesterday. So this is actually the measure to calculate for the open ticket daily change. So what I'm going to do now is I'll simply copy this very one now. I'll copy this very one for open tickets. I'll commit this for open tickets. Now we need to create another for close tickets. So I'll come to calculations, stay on calculations, I'll say new measure. I'll paste everything I copied, but I'm going to change this to close tickets. Now we are no longer calculating open tickets, rather I'll remove this and refer to our closed tickets measure. This is the closed ticket measure. Also note, here also I'm no longer referring to the open ticket, rather is the closed ticket. Closed ticket. Every other thing remains the same. Every other thing remains the same. You don't need to edit any other thing here. Every other thing remains the same. So you only need to change those two variables. Every other thing remains the same. So I'm going to commit this for closed tickets. I'll make one more copy for in progress. So for that, I'll stay on calculations once more and say new measure. And I'll simply paste this again. I'm going to change this now from open once more. Now we can actually go to in progress or resolve. So now I'm going to pick in progress. I'll also come here and change this to in progress. Those are the two things I need to do. Then I'll change the title from open to in progress. Once I'm done with this, I would commit this. And finally, we need to do this for resolved. We need to do this for resolved. We need to do this for resolved. I'll stay on calculations once more and I'll say new measure. I'll paste this. I'll change the title now to resolved. And we're no longer talking about open tickets, we're talking about resolved tickets. So this should be resolved tickets. And I'm going to change this also to resolved tickets. So with this we're done, and I'm going to click on commit once more. So we have the total value, that's for the tickets: open, in progress, closed, resolved. Then we have the daily change already. So what we need to do now is simply use our new card visual to actually visualize both the total and the daily change. So I'll select the new card visual. We're going to start with open ticket. So I'll simply expand this. The first measure I'm going to take is open tickets. I'll take the open tickets. So this is the open tickets. I'll simply change this to open tickets. Next, I will come to format now. I'll come to reference label. I'll click on add data. I'll navigate to open tickets DOD. Yes, once that is added, I'll scroll down a bit. I'll turn off the title. I'll scroll down. I'll come to the reference label now. I'll scroll down. For the divider, I don't want the divider, so I'll turn it off. Exactly. So once that is done, I'll simply come to colored value. I'll change this colored value, the text style. It's the one we're using before now. Change the text size to say 25. As 25 is too small, so I'll make it 30. And make it bold. It's too big. So I'll resize this. I guess it's still too big. So, okay, so this is fine. What I'll do next is I'll simply come to reference label. I'll scroll down. And I'll change from open tickets, I'll take it to all. I'll scroll down and come to spacing. I'll reduce this to 0. I'll reduce this to 0 also. Great. So once this is done now, I think I'm good to go. For layout, let's quickly check layout if we need to do anything. Do we need to do anything? I don't think so. I don't think so. So we'll click on the card once more. Now you go to cards, you scroll down, turn off the background, turn off the border. You don't need those. What other thing? I don't think there's anything you need to turn up here. Just those things, two things that were good. So let me quickly check with what we have here. Great, so it's fine. So we have open tickets now. So this is for open tickets. We need to do same for closed tickets, and in progress and co. So I'll simply make a copy of this. I'll simply copy this. I'll paste it. I'll bring it here. So what I'm going to simply do is I'll come to in progress and I'll select in progress. Then I'll remove open tickets. Okay. Now I'll go to format once more, reference label. I'll change this to in progress and I'll click on add. I'll navigate to calculations and I'll say in progress DOD. Once that is done, let's try something out. So I'm going to stay on this in progress and I'll say format painter and I'll click on this. Oops, that didn't work out as I expected. So I'll just undo this and try it one more time. So what do I want to do? I actually want to, I'll select this and say format painter. It's supposed to work out though, but I don't know. Nope. Okay, so I just discovered it's not working. So which means we're gonna manually do that. So but it's simple. All you need to do is select in progress, change this to in progress. Finally, come to format, reference label, scroll down, turn off the divider, the background will go off also, turn off the title, then change this from in progress to all, scroll down, you also need to turn off the divider and the background also. Come to the spacing, everything should be 0, okay, that means we're good. Then finally go to cards, scroll down, make sure everything is 0. So we're done for in progress. So we need to make one more copy, we need to make 2 more copies though. So I'll simply copy and paste this. I'll paste this. Now we need to go to resolved. So while it's still selected, I'll select the resolved tickets. Now I'm going to uncheck, then I'll just say resolved tickets. So the format is kept already, it's still in order. So what I'll do next is simply go to format visual reference label. I'll change this from all to resolved tickets. I'll come to add. I'll come to calculations. Now I'll click on resolved tickets DOD. Once that is done, I'll scroll down. I'll turn off the title once more. I'll scroll down, turn off the divider, the background goes out. And that is all. We're good. So I'll make one more copy of this now, one final copy. I'll take this will be closed ticket now. So this will be closed ticket. So while it's still on in progress, I will select closed tickets. But once closed ticket is here, I'll then uncheck in progress. I'll just remove the little symbol, the little sign I have there, close ticket. So for close ticket, next I'll come to format, reference label, close ticket, I'll say add, calculations, I'll say close ticket DOD, that's close ticket DOD. Once that is selected, I'll scroll down, I'll turn off the title, scroll down once more, turn off the divider, the background goes off, and that settles it. So we're good. One final thing I'm going to do is select this open ticket, hold down my control, select in progress, select resolved, select closed, and come to format, align, and I'll say distribute horizontally. Great. So one thing you need to do yourself is you go to maybe Flaticon and get your own icons and put them here for open tickets, for in progress, for resolved, and for closed tickets. You can actually put your own icon. So while we're done here for now, I'm simply going to say file and save as. I'll browse the location to which I want to save this. I can just say tickets, ticket demo, and I'll say it should come to my download and my PBX file, and I'll say save. So next we are going to start creating the charts we have, the different charts we have. So for the first chart, which is actually the total number of tickets created by workdays and weekend. So we're going to be using the donut chart for that. I'm simply going to select the donut chart. I'll select the donut chart. I'll just resize it here. Next, I'll pick the total tickets. Note that I'm taking the total ticket, not percent or string. So I'll take the total tickets. Next, I'll go to my calendar table. On my calendar table, so if you come to the calendar table, let's go to table view and go to calendar. While we're here, I'll select the first column. I'll simply just change this to dates. I'll change this to dates. I'll also change the format to, I prefer DD, month, and year. So on our calendar table, we have a column already that says weekday or weekend. That's the last column we have here that tells us if that date is a weekday or weekend. And remember that this calendar table is actually connected to our technical support table using the created date. So for this weekending, I'm just going to format this once more to date, and I'll change the format style also to DDMM and yeah, this. So we already have a weekday or weekend column, weekday or weekend column. So we're going to be using that. So we'll go back to our report view where we have these column chart selected now. I'll go to the calendar table and I'll select weekday slash weekend. That's weekday slash weekend. Once I have that selected, I should get the value. So the number of tickets, that's the percentage of tickets created during the weekday and percentage of tickets created during the weekend. So while that is selected, I'll quickly come to format. I'll say slices. I'll change this to the color code we have before now. I'll change this to the color code we have before now. Then I'll change this weekend. I'll say 30% darker. Should be fine. Great. Finally, I'll come to details label. I only want to display the percent value, so I'll say percent of total only. Then I think that's all. One more thing, we'll go to general, go to title and change the title to total tickets created by workday, that's workdays, and weekend, workdays and weekends. So once I have that, I'll change the style once more. We need to be consistent. I'll change it. I'll leave the size to be 14. I'll scroll down and centralize this. So we have the first chart already created. Now to the next chart. Let's go to the report. So the next chart is actually ticket distribution during standard work hours versus after work hours. Standard work hours versus after work hours. So while we're here, I created two new columns on my technical support table. I created two columns using the switch statement. Those two columns are actually the R category. This is the R category. So I'll simply select the R category and scroll down. This is just to categorize my time. So I'm calling on the technical support created time this time around. Remember, the technical support, we have the created date and the created time. So I'm calling on the created time and I'm trying to categorize my time from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. So that's what this switch function does here. So it's just a switch through our technical support created time. If it's equal to 0, that's 12 a.m. If it's equal to 1, that's 1 a.m. So it's just a time category. So what I'm going to do now, I'll simply copy this. I'll copy this. I'll navigate back to my report now, the report we're trying to create. I'll come to table view. I'll navigate to technical support and I'll say add a new column. The column we're adding is TR category, so I'll just paste what I copied. I shouldn't have any problem because my table name is actually same. My table name is still technical support. If the table name was actually named something else, that's when I have to start changing. So once I have this done, I'll commit this. So this is actually the R category to categorize my R's. Now I need to go back to the report also and copy another column. So I'll come back to the report once more. I'll navigate to table view. Now I have another column called R category 2. This is R category 2 to categorize it into late work hours, non-work hours, overnight, standard work hours. Standard work hours are normally between, let's say, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's just a simple way to categorize our time. We're not doing anything special. So we're also using the switch function also. So I'm going to copy this once more. That's R category 2. Now I'll navigate back to the reports once more, to table view. So I'll say new column once more and I'll paste the code I copied now, which is R category 2. I'll simply paste the code I copied now, which is R category 2. I still have same what is it called, same table name, so it shouldn't give me any problem. So all I need to do is close the bracket. So you can actually see, so between 6 and 8 early workers, between 8 and 18 the standard workers, 18, 20 late workers, 0 to 6 non-workers, and overnight, then 20 to 24 non-workers late night. So I'll click on commit now. We can then go ahead to create the next chart. So what I'll do is simply come to, I'll pick let's say stack bar chart now. I'll bring it here, expand. Now I'm going to click the R category 2. That's the new column we created now, R category 2. No, we have R category 1 and that's R category and R category 2. So I'll pick the R category 2. Next, I'm going to pick the ticket percent, not ticket string. So I'm going to pick the total ticket percent. So I'm going to pick that. So that should give me the percentage of ticket that were created, standard workers, non-workers, and all. So once I have that selected, I'll come to format. For my y-axis, I would want to turn off the title. I don't need the title. For my x-axis, I want to turn off the values. I also want to turn off the title. Then finally, I'll scroll down to my data label. I'll turn it on. Great. So once I have that done, I can come to my bars and I'll scroll down, change the color to our color code, what we have here already. Next, we need to format our title. So we have standard workers 41%, non-workers 26% of the ticket were created, non-workers late night 15%, early workers 9%, and late workers 8%. So let's navigate to our report now so we get it clearly. So we've done this already. You can actually see it's similar to what we have on the other side. So this is actually ticket distribution during standard workers versus after workers. So we can give that title ticket distribution during standard workers versus after work hours. So once that is done, I'll change the text style once more. and I'll simply just centralize this. Let's see, increase the size a bit, increase the size a bit. So that is taken care of. That's the second chart we have there. The second chart we have here is the second chart. So one thing we can do to avoid these titles being cut short. Let's see if that will work out here. So I'll select the chart, I'll come to format, and I'll come to data label. I'll scroll down, I'll come to values, I'll scroll down, then okay, what am I looking for? Values, total ticket, that's what. Okay, so position, instead of auto, I'll say inside end. Then let's see if we can. Okay, so it's not going to make any change to this. It's not going to make any change. What can we do? Let's say auto again. Okay, so we can actually do something to avoid these titles being short, but it's going to take a short while. So what we'll do is we stay on calculations, create a new measure. I'll just say label. I'll do equal to, and I'll give it 0. I didn't have to do this for my report, but I'll just do it here. So once I have this selected, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this chart from this stacked bar chart to clustered bar charts. Once I've done that, I'm going to select the label measure I created. I'm going to select it. Now I have the 0 underneath here. I'm going to swap the label and the total ticket. I'm going to swap the label up. So I have the 0 up here. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to format. I'm going to turn off the legend, right? So I'm going to come to the y-axis. I'm going to turn off the values. Great. So finally, not finally now. Now I'll come to data label, right? I'll scroll down. I'll change this from all to label. I'll scroll down. I'll come to the value. I'll expand. On the label, I'll expand data option. Now I'm going to go to technical support, and I'll scroll down carefully and select, what do I want to select? R category 2. I'll select R category 2 to replace the label. Once I have that done, I can choose to increase the size to 10. I can decide now to filter this by let's say ticket percent. Great. So we still have issues here. We'll take care of that. So next I will scroll down, and what do I need to do? Okay, so come out of here, come out of here, scroll up a bit, change this to all, and come to bars. While you're on all, change the layout, the space between, let's reduce this to 0. Okay, reduce this to 0, so you have the values display as within, then it will take care of the overflow. So you can select this now and come to format once more. On the bars, now note, is not all, change these bars to label, and you can change the color. Now change it to total ticket percent once more, change the color, and you're good. So that would we're able to avoid the overflow we had, so you can actually see this clearly before now, but I think this is better. I didn't have to do this for my report, so it's actually okay. So the next chart we need to create now is what's the next chart? So ticket distribution by product group. So we have a column called product group. We want to know the ticket distribution by the product group. So we're going to pick another stacked bar chart, ticket distribution by the product group. So I'll resize this. Next, I'll say total ticket percent this time around. Also, I'll scroll down to technical support now and select product group. Product group. This is product group. I'll select product group. Great. So we have product group. Quickly, I'll come to format. I'll come to bars. Not bars yet. I'll say y-axis. I'll turn off the title. I don't need the title. I'll come to the x-axis. I'll turn off the values, turn off the title. I'll scroll down. I'll turn on the data label. So one thing we can do to also avoid this custom software, these values that is this title that is actually being cut short here, and this, we can actually repeat the same thing we did here. So we can decide to change this chart now to a clustered bar chart. Then also click on the label measure we created that was 0. Come to the label measure and click on it. Now swap the label and the ticket percent, swap the label up. Great. Next thing you do, come to format, come to the y-axis, turn it off, come to the legend, turn it off. Fine. Now navigate to data label, scroll down, change this from series all to label, scroll down again, come to values, expand. On the label, expand data option. Now you select product group. You want to replace the 0 with product group. Select product group. Great. So you can increase the size to 10. Once you've done this, you're good to go. You can actually come out of here, come to bars, scroll down, change it from ticket percent to all, scroll down, come to layout, reduce the space between to 0, scroll down. That is it. So you can change the bars now to total ticket percent and change the color. Next, you come to sort axis by total ticket percent. Great. So that is taken care of. So you need to give your chart a proper title. That's ticket distribution by product group. So ticket distribution by product group. You select the chart, come to format, general, title, ticket distribution by product group. That's it. I'll change this to UI 14. I'll scroll down, centralize. So that is taken care of. So to our next chart, which is actually a ticket creation matrix, distribution by day of the week and time of the day. So we'll proceed. To achieve that, we're going to be using a matrix visual. So I'll select the matrix visual. On the matrix visual, we want the day of the week. So I'll go to the calendar table and select the weekday, not weekday and weekend now, the weekday. I need the weekday name. That's the weekday name. Yeah, weekday name. So this is what I need, weekday name. Now we also want the hours. So on our technical support table, we created hour category 1. So that's hour category, not 1, hour category. Select the hour category. So we have the hour category. Now we can actually decide to sort this by, say we want to sort it now. Okay, so this is where we have an issue. Actually, we have an issue here. Ideally, we have the weekday from Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. So one thing we can do is go to our table view, come to calendar, on our calendar, we actually have the weekday. This is the weekday number. This is the weekday number. Now we're referring to the weekday name. The weekday name, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or so. So I will stay on the weekday name. I'll stay on the weekday name, and I'll come to sort column by, I'll say sort by weekday. That's the weekday with the number. I'll sort by weekday. So now when you go back to our charts, you can actually sort this now. Okay, so sort descending. So you have Sunday to Saturday, Sunday to Saturday now. So you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to Saturday. We still have an issue with the time up here. So for that time, I created a new column. If you come to our previous report, I created a new column called R category sort. This is the new column, R category sort. So I'm simply going to copy this. I'm going to copy this R category sort. This will enable me sort the R category from um 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I'll just copy this. I'll copy this. That's the R category sort. I'll navigate back to our report now. Copy this. So once I get here, I'm going to say table view. I'm going to switch to my technical support table. Technical support table. I'll say I want to add a new column. I'll simply paste the code I copied. I'll paste the code I copied. Once I paste the code, I'm going to click on commit. So there's something I'm going to quickly do now. I'll navigate to the R category column. Where's the R category column? This is the R category column. I'll select the R category column. I'll say sort column by. I'll look for the R category sort. I'll say sort it by the R category sort. That's what sorting the R category now by the R category sort column. So once that is done, you should navigate back to our reports and check our matrix visual. Don't need this. You can actually wait and see that the time is now sorted from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. So that is taken care of. So once that is done, the next thing I'm going to click is total tickets. So I'll navigate to where we have our total ticket now in our measure. I'll say total tickets. Great. So we've created the matrix for the total ticket. The next thing we're going to do is come to format. I'll come to grid. Okay, before that, I'll simply say layout and style. I'll change it from default to none. Great. Then I'll come to grid. I'll scroll down, come to options. I'll increase the padding a bit. I'll increase the padding. Okay, so I'll leave the padding at 6. I'll increase the font size to maybe 12. Reduce the padding to 4. Reduce the font size to 10 maybe. Okay, let's leave it at 11. Make it 10. Okay, so once the font size is 10, the padding is 4. Let's see if we can increase the padding to 5. Okay, great. So the padding is 5, the font size is 10. So there's something we need to do to add the colors to conditional formatting. We need to do the conditional formatting to add the color gradient to the matrix table. But one thing we need to do also is to turn off the total. So I'll select the visual. I'll say I want to turn off the row subtotal. Great. I want to turn off the row subtotal. I'll simply go back to grid once more and see if I can increase the size actually. Increase the size by 11. Okay, I guess we have to leave it at 10, but we still have enough space. So let's increase the padding and see what happens. Make it 7. Okay, padding should be 6. Make it 7. You can actually play around this thing. So let's make it 7 and we're good. So one thing we need to do next is simply come to cell element. In cell element, we would simply say to our total ticket, we want to apply what we call background color. Immediately we turn this on, you're going to see the color gradient. But this is not the color gradient I actually want. This is not what I want. What I want is quite different from what I have here. So I simply created a measure called ticket gradient. So I'll navigate to my report now. There's the old report. So I have a measure here called, on the ticket, I have a measure called ticket gradient. This is ticket gradient. So the ticket gradient is actually based on the values I have on the ticket. I'm just simply saying if it's less than 5, it should be this. If it's less than 10, it should be this. If it's less than 15, this is the color code I want. If it's less than 20, this is the color I want. So I'll simply copy this. I'll navigate back to the report now. While I'm here, I'll say I want to create a new measure. I'll say new measure. Next, I'll paste the code I copied. Now, I'm having an error because my total ticket I'm referring to is not spelled exactly the same way we have it here. So for my total ticket, I have a capital T and I also have a capital T here. So that's my total ticket. So I'm also going to make the same change for this. I'm going to make the same change for this. I'll make the same change for this. Now it's not tickets, it's tickets. So, oh, my bad. Sorry about that. Don't do that. So I'll go back to the measure we're creating. Ticket gradient. Where's the measure? In case I lost it, so I'll simply just paste the code I copied. And I'll change this like I was doing before now. Change this. And this should be total tickets, not tickets. I'll also do same for this. I'll do same for this. It's going to take a little while, but we're good. I'm simply just editing rather than writing the code again. So, like I said, what I'm doing here is simply saying if the total ticket is less than 5, give it this color code. If it's less than 10, give it this color code. Less than 15, that's what I'm just doing here using the switch function. So once I'm done with this, I think I want to make this capital T. Once I'm done with this, I'll commit this measure I created now. The next thing I'll simply do is select the matrix table. I'll select the matrix table now. I'll navigate to my cell element once more, cell element. I'll scroll down, format background, conditional formatting. Now, instead of using the gradient, I'll come to feed value. The feed value I want to supply now is the new measure I created. That's the ticket gradient. So I'll simply search for it. ticket gradient. I'll select that and I'll click on OK. So this automatically gives it the color gradient I want. So the darker color, actually more tickets were created around that same time. So this is 3 p.m. You can actually see that a lot of tickets were created around 3 p.m. So one more thing also, for the total, I displayed the bars for the total rather than the value. So I'll select the matrix visual once more. I'll go to formats. I'll scroll down to cell element once more. I'll scroll down. Now we are still on total ticket. This time around, I'm going to go to bars. I'll turn on the bars. Don't worry. Go to formats, conditional formatting now. Now I want to apply this value only to the total. I don't want to apply it to um, the um, the values we have within the matrix visual, only to the total. So also I'm being asked to assign a minimum value. So this is where I have to check. I have to quickly check. For now, I'm just going to say 100. That's my minimum value, and I'm going to say my total is 500. And I only want to show the bars only. So I'm going to click on OK. Now I can simply just check it out. So these are the bars only I'm having there. So one thing I can do is I can come back here now and say I want to show the values and the total and say okay. I have to format that back, values and total. So I want to show the values only and I click on okay, show bars only. I have to uncheck this and click on okay. So the values I have here, they're actually from so minimum is actually 165, maximum is not okay 410. So it's actually okay 439, that's fine. So what I'll do finally is just come to conditional formatting now. Click on the form. I'll say I want to apply this to the total only and I want to show bars only. And 100 and 500 is fine. So the positive bar now, I think I need to get that color code. So I'll click on OK. So I have the bars here already. So one thing I can do is adjust this total so the bars can be visible. You can actually see, adjust it a bit, so that's fine. So we need to grab the color code for this and change the bars to this color code. So I'll simply select one of the visuals we have here. I'll go to format, slice, I'll grab the color code. Once I have the color code selected, I'll come to the matrix visual once more. I'll scroll down, cell element, scroll down. The bars now, conditional formatting. The positive bar, I actually want to give you the color code I copied. And I'll say, okay. One thing I want to also do, I don't want this total here to display. So I'll simply come to specific column. I'll scroll down. I'll say, so can I do that? I don't think so. Let me quickly check. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I can actually do that. If actually we're working with a table, that's when we'll be able to do that. So we can do that while we're using a matrix visual. So you can actually see the matrix visual we have here is similar to what I have here already. Similar to what I have here. So the only thing we need to do is assign, give it a title, ticket creation matrix, distribution by day, and weekday, and day of the week and time. So I'll simply just go copy this title. I'll navigate back to our matrix visual now. Now come to general, title, turn it on, and I'll paste the text. Once I have done that, I'll change the style and I'll change center. I'm only going to increase the size to accommodate. Wait. Once that is done, I think one thing we can also do is come to format now and say grid. Maybe we'll put on the horizontal grid to see. Yeah. Change the color. Let's say maybe we'll leave it at white. Okay. Maybe increase the width a bit. Nope. Don't increase the width, please. So this is fine. This is fine and this is okay. Next, we need to create total ticket by month. This is total ticket by month from January to December, the total tickets, monthly ticket trend. So now we can go to our reports, simply select the start column chart, I'll bring it down here, increase the size. Now I'll go to our calendar table and pick the month name. So month name, not month number, month name. So I have month name N and I have month name. So the month name N is actually short. So I'll pick the month name and I'll pick total tickets. So total tickets. Great. So now let's say we want to sort this axis by month name. We're unable to do that. So what we'll do quickly is go to our table view. In our table view, navigate to the calendar table. On the calendar table, this is the month we're working with, month N. So we want to sort this month N now using the month number column. So I'll sort this column with the month number column. So this should sort it from January to December or from December to January. So you navigate back to our report now. You should be able to sort this from December to January or January to December. So I'll say I want to sort this axis from January to December. Fine. One thing I want to also do is quickly come to format. On the x-axis, I want to turn off the title. On the y-axis, I want to turn off the values. I want to turn off the title. One thing I also want to do is turn on the data label. Fine. Then come to general, come to effect, turn off the background, go to the visual, go to columns, scroll down, change the color to the color code we're actually using. Then finally go to general, title, give it title monthly tickets trend. Once I have that done, I'll simply change the style once more. I'll centralize this. Wait, so I think with this we have the first page covered. So let's select this and try something out. Once we have the month number, what happens if, let's see if we can drill down by the week number. Is it week number now? Let's see if we can drill down by week number. Up. So if you have January selected, okay, so drill down now. Let's see. Do I want to do this? So because I used Zoom Chat Visual, this was a bit easy for me to achieve. So if you navigate to my report, actually use, so you can click on the month to drill through by week. I use Zoom Chat, so you don't need to come up here to start drilling through. So if I click on the month and expand, I can actually see the week number. But you can achieve this using the regular chart. Now yes, you have the drill down option up here, but I really don't like that. So I'll navigate back to the reports. You can actually implement that if you want to. Then eventually you have to use the drill down option you have up here. So let's say we want to add the, what are we adding now? We're adding the week, we're adding the week number. So come back to our report and say we want to add the week number, bring it up here. So you can go up and drill down by the week number, which I don't really like. I don't like this, so I'll simply remove it. So this is fine. If you have a better way to do this, you can actually implement it. So this is the first page of the report. This is actually the first page of the report. Remember, for this chart we have here, you can actually use the regular chart if you want to, if that's up to you. So this is the first page of the report. The only thing we need to do here is actually to add our filters. Filter by source, by priority, by status, by topic, week number, and day. Then this is actually a text. This is a text. So we'll continue. We can actually create these filters much more later. Then I'll walk you through how you can actually create this navigation. So let's proceed to the next page. So this is actually a zoom chart visual. This is a zoom chart visual, and this is actually a zoom chart visual. All these are zoom chart visuals. That's why they are able to fit in without much stress. So to the next page of our report, where we have the ticket log. The next page of our report is actually the ticket log. So let's navigate back to the report now. Great. So I'm going to add a new page. I'm simply going to come to format, canvas setting. I'll change this to custom once more. This is 1080 and this is 1920. Once this is done, I'll go to format, canvas background. I'll bring the second background. Remember, you must have downloaded this background before now. So this is actually ticket 2, not 2, ticket 3. That's the background now, ticket 3. I'll select it, I'll click on open. I'll reduce the transparency to 0. I'll change the image fit from normal to fit. Great. So we also have same title, same card visuals here. So what I'll do, I'll simply highlight everything I have here. I'll highlight everything I have here, and I'll simply say Control C to copy. I'll go back to the next page I just created now and Control V. So this should paste everything here the way I want it. Great. Next, we need to just create a table visual now. The table visual. So we're going to be using a table visual. We're going to be using a table visual, and we are going to get the ticket ID, the flag, that's the country, the topic, the source, priority, status. You can actually arrange these in any order you want it. So I'll start with the ticket ID, the country, topic, source, and priority. So I'll pick a table visual. I'll simply bring it down here. I'll expand. The first thing I need is the ticket ID. So what I want now is ticket ID. So I want the ticket ID column. What's the ticket ID? So I want the ticket ID. Now I don't want to sum. I don't want to count. So I'll simply say don't summarize. So I want the ticket ID. What's the next thing I want? I want the country the ticket is coming from. So I'll come to the country, but I don't want to display the country. I only want to display the flag. So I'll select the flag. Now you can actually see I'm getting the URL. So I'll select the flag now. I'll come up here. I'll select the flag. I'll come up here. I'll change this from uncategorized to image URL. Great. So I need to resize that image. So I'll come to format. I'll scroll down. I want to resize this image to 30 by 30. Great. So next thing I want is my technical support. I want to pick the source. Great. Let's quickly check through again. So I want to pick the topic, the source, priority, and status. Okay. So I want to pick the topic. I'll swap the topic and the source now. So I want to pick the topic, the source. Next I want is the priority and what? So I'll pick the priority. I'll also pick the status. Great. So you can see the table visual is coming to life. What else do I want to add? So you can add anything you really want to add here. So created date, created time, SLA first, second, SLA for first response, SLA for second for resolution, then agent name, number of agent interaction, and waiting. So created date, time, SLA, waiting, first response. So now I want the created date and time. So I have those here. I'll pick the created date. I'll format that date eventually. I'll pick the created time. Then I want SLA for first response. So I'll come SLA for first response, resolution for first response, for SLA for resolution, I mean. Then what do I want next? I want the number of agent interaction. I think that's what I added also. So I want the agent name, then the number of agent interaction, then the rating. So next I'll add the agent name. These things I'm adding are actually coming from the technical support table. I add agent name, then the number of agent interactions. So I add agent interaction, that's number of agent interaction. Then finally I'll add the rating. Now for the rating, you can actually see that what I have here is actually the star symbol displaying if it received a rating of 3-star rating, 4-star rating, or 2-star rating. So for the rating, I actually created a custom column. I created a custom column. So what we need to do first to get this, we need to come to report view now. So let's navigate back to our report and create that custom column. So when in report view, I'll simply come to home and I'll see transform data. So one thing I'll quickly go grab on the technical support, I need to grab the star symbol. So to get the star symbol, I think one thing you can do is simply go online and type star. Okay, so star emoji copy paste or star symbol text copy paste, because you want something you'll be able to copy. I think, yeah, so this is it. I'll just copy this black star. I'll say copy. So you can actually use star emoji copy paste, or you check out this link I have up here. So next thing I'll do is navigate back to Power Query. This is Power Query. The rating, we have a column in our data set that is actually called survey results. The survey results, if you read the data dictionary, is more like a rating between 1 to 5. So we're actually saying now, if the survey result is 1 star, if it's 2 star, if it's 3 star. So what we need to do is just come to transform, or no, add column, say conditional column. I'll say conditional column now. I'll call this column rating. What I'll simply say, if column now, the column name I'm referring to now is survey results. So I'm simply saying if the survey result, if the survey result is equals to 1, it should be 1 star. Now add another clause. If the survey result is equal to 2, I want 2 star. If the survey result is equal to 3, I want 3 star. The survey result is equal to 4. If the survey result is equal to 4, I want 4 star, 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, the survey result is equal to 5. I want a 5-star rating, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I can actually say no here, because the survey results for all the tickets, not all the tickets have received rating, so I can actually just put no there in the S and click on OK. So a new column has been created for the ticket with 3 value, so you can actually see the value here. This is survey result 3 and the rating is actually 3-star. Once that is done, I'll come to file, I'll click on close and apply. I'll navigate back to our report now. So once this is done, I can then add the rating to this table I created. So I select the table, I'll simply scroll now and look for the rating column I just added. This is the rating column I just added. I'll select the rating column. So I have the rating already. So once this is done, I can begin formatting my table. So first thing I want to do is simply come to format style. I'll say I don't want nope, I don't want any style. Fine. One thing I also do is come to grid now. I'll come to options. I'll scroll down. I'll increase the padding a bit to maybe 5. Then the font size, I'll increase it to maybe 12. Okay, I think this is okay. I'm okay with this. Now I want to start formatting each of the column. Now I have some of agent interaction. I don't really want to show some of agent interaction. So one thing I'll do is simply scroll down here. Instead of having some of agent interaction, I'll double click and I'll just add the symbol. Yep, number of agent interaction. So I'll come to format. For the column headers, I'll leave it at 12. Text color should be, should I say black or white? Okay, background color, I'll make it this color. Then text color, should I say white? Fine, white is okay. Now I need to come to specific column. Specific column. For specific column, I'll start with the ticket ID. I'll say I want to apply to the header and the total. One thing I want to do is align it to the left. That's fine. That's what I want. Next, I'll change the column to the flag. For flag, I really don't want to do much, so I'll click on it here and make a little adjustment from the ticket. I'll also do that for the topic. So for the topic, I'll increase it a bit because I know some topic are longer, so I'll give it a little space. For the source, I'm okay with that. So for the flag, I'm okay. So for the flag, I don't want anything to display here. On the title, I don't want the flag to display. So I'll turn off the value. I'll say I want to apply this to the header. And I'll simply say I want the text color to be the same as my background color. So that removes the flag. So the topic is okay. The source is okay. The created date. So for the created date, I'll simply come to my table view here. I would say technical support. I'll look for the date, created date here. I'll select it and I'll change the format style to the one I like. That's DDMM and year. Great. So once that is done, I'll simply go back to my report view now. That's not taken care of. Yeah, it's taken care of. So we have the time, we have the first SLA response, resolution, agent name. Okay, so for the agent interaction, number of agent interaction, I'll change it. I'll come, this is actually my specific column element. I'll change the specific column now to agent interaction. I'll say I want to apply it to the total and everything. I want to centralize it. So this will centralize the value for me. So I can start adding little spaces. Great. So with this, we've created the ticket log table. This is actually the ticket log table. It's simple. So like I said, the filters we have up here, we are going to add the filters once we're done with the entire report. So with this, we're actually done with part 1 of this video. We've created the first 2 pages of the report. So the first 2 pages are actually ticket volume and ticket log, ticket volume and ticket log. So I'll simply come back now and rename this to page number 1. I'll say this is actually ticket volume. Then the next page, this is actually ticket log. Ticket log. Okay, so one thing, I don't want the total. Do I want the total here? I don't think I want the total. So I'll simply just, do I want the total? I don't want the total. So I'll simply say for totals, do I want the total? I don't want the total. I'll turn it off. Okay. Let me confirm this with the report I have. So I don't want the total. That's true. So with this, we're done with the first part of the video where we've created the ticket log and the ticket volume analysis. So we have the first 2 pages ready. And in the next video, we're going to be creating the SLA, that's the content and SLA, then agent performance. So if you enjoyed this video, do leave a like and turn on your notification button for part 2. Till then, bye for now.